Well, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, February 8th. Accumulating snow is on the way to the Mid-Atlantic region. All areas in the Mid-Atlantic region should see some snow this afternoon and evening. For the most part, it'll be an afternoon and evening event. What does that mean? Well, be very little, if any, precipitation in the morning hours, very little, if any, precipitation after midnight. It'll start around noontime or so in the D.C. region, about by 2 o'clock or so in the Philadelphia region, and maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the New York City region. Now let's take a look right up front as to what I expect in terms of accumulation. Here's the D.C. region, Philadelphia right in here, and New York City right in this region right here. Expect basically a coating or so south and east of the big cities here, D.C. and Philadelphia, with up to 2 inches or so in the northern and western suburbs. I'm just going to try to draw this by hand real quickly. Basically 1 to 2 inches across central Pennsylvania on into the Poconos. They will get some snow, not a major event. Maybe 3 or 4 inches out in the eastern part of West Virginia and out to some parts of south central PA into southwestern PA. Now, in the New York City region, the precipitation will kind of lose a little bit of punch as it approaches. Basically a coating to 1 inch in the New York City region. What happens is later on in the day, the storm tries to reorganize off the coast, and some of the precipitation looks like it's headed for the New York City region, and then it kind of shifts to the south and east as this storm reorganizes itself off the coast. So again, up to 2 inches or so to the north and west of the big cities of D.C. and Philadelphia, maybe a little bit less in the New York City region. And there may be a mixture of rain and snow at the onset in all places, but I expect that to quickly change over to snow, even in the big cities, as the increasingly colder air in the upper atmosphere plays a role later on this afternoon and tonight. And certainly there can be some slick spots on the roads anytime late in the afternoon, especially this evening, across Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York. Here's the latest surface map. The surface low itself right now is over West Virginia. It'll head continuously in this direction during the next 12 to 24 hours or so. An important feature, this cold front came through last night. Yesterday, of course, we had temperatures 50 degrees or above throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. Colder air moved in overnight. That's playing a crucial role, of course, and in fact, temperatures will continuously drop today in the upper part of the atmosphere, where it's all important, of course, where the precipitation begins, several thousand feet up above the surface. So this will move on fairly quickly, and again, it'll be an afternoon and evening event. All the snow should be out of here by midnight or so tonight, although there can be some slick spots even after the precipitation ends around midnight or so, because late tonight temperatures will certainly be below freezing throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. So not only slick spots possible during the evening rush hour and early evening, but even after the precipitation stops late tonight, there can be some slick spots. Here's the latest radar. It is already snowing now in Pittsburgh, and this is advancing slowly. It'll reach the D.C. area by about noon or so, and then early to mid-afternoon in the Philadelphia region, let's say 1 or 2 o'clock or so, and then maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon across the New York City region. So by the time the evening rush hour rolls around here in Philadelphia as well as in D.C., it'll maybe snowing fairly heavily, moderate to heavy at that time, and temperatures will be dropping throughout the afternoon. Once the precipitation begins, it may be 40 degrees or so, but it'll drop rather quickly down into the low 30s, hence the potential for some slick spots right around evening rush hour or so, especially across D.C. and Philadelphia. The snow will have just begun around evening rush hour, but even there, in the New York City region, but even there they can have some slick spots later on this evening. Well, yesterday we looked at a couple different factors as to why this can be a sneaky snow event, and it still looked that way certainly this morning. The upper level pattern is quite energetic here for this particular system. This is the upper level wind pattern at 300 millibars way up in the atmosphere. Basically what you're seeing here is a jet streak here that's certainly playing a role here in generating upward motion down here at the surface for this particular event. This is for right now, the current jet streak centered over the Ohio Valley, and take a look and see what happens 6 hours from now. Here it is 6 hours later, about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Basically that jet streak has moved slowly to the north and east and has somewhat intensified. So we have certainly an energetic upper level pattern with a strong jet streak that actually intensifies as the day wears on. Again, this is the early morning, the current situation right now, and this is the afternoon. So we have a strengthening jet streak in the upper part of the atmosphere. Now let's take a look at the temperature pattern as well. That's playing a key role here. Well, here is the surface with the thickness lines. Again, these dashed blue lines we talked about yesterday can translate to a temperature pattern. The lower the thickness, the lower the temperatures. Notice there's about 3 different dashed lines here, and this is, again, for right around now, the early part of the morning hours from the GFS computer forecast model of precipitation breaking out right now over the Ohio Valley. Now let's jump ahead 6 hours. This is for 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now the precipitation has advanced right around into central Pennsylvania and maybe into the Washington, D.C. area by early to mid-afternoon. Now notice these thickness lines. They've actually continued to drop to the south and east. Basically, it's turning colder and colder as the afternoon progresses. Here's again this morning. See this particular isotherm. You can think of this as an isotherm in the upstate Pennsylvania. Now 6 hours later, it actually drops to the southeast. In other words, we have increasingly colder air in the upper part of the atmosphere. So that combined with a strengthening jet really provides some support for what otherwise would be a weak system, so that I believe we'll get up to 2 inches or so of snow in the suburbs of the big cities. Well, one final map just to jump ahead to the weekend. We have some interesting possibilities for the weekend. This is a GFS map for Saturday morning. A strong Arctic cold front blasts through by Friday night into early Saturday. No doubt will be a chilly weekend of probably some of the coldest air. In fact, by later in the weekend, brutal cold air will move throughout the New England region. I expect temperatures to go down 10 to 20 below in parts of New England in the Sunday to Monday time frame. But nonetheless, notice here that there's a lot of precipitation here predicted by the GFS model of the Gulf of Mexico. And this looks like it's going to head to the northeast, probably off the east coast. However, it's close enough that there is a chance of more significant snow over the weekend as opposed to the expected snow shower. So we still have to watch this. It's kind of an explosive situation, and we talked the last few days about the rarity for this winter to have the Gulf of Mexico open up and supply some moisture for a potential East Coast system. So still some possibilities for decent snow over the weekend. The cold is definitely coming for the weekend, but in addition to that, of course, we have the snow for this afternoon and this evening, so be careful out there on the roads if they get slick after about 4 or 5 p.m. We'll update things over the next several hours. For the SIweather.com, I'm Meteor